Hello, good evening. My name is Azim. I will be presenting to you today Balance Scorecard. Agenda of the day: learning objectives, followed by Balance Scorecard interpretation, monitoring the phases, benefits of Balance Scorecard, creating a Balance Scorecard, and then case study, followed by conclusion and wrap up. So, learning objectives. Why Balance Scorecard is needed. Understand it holistically, differentiate between phases of monitoring, understand how to design a balanced scorecard to suit our needs, learn through a case study. Expert Paul Niven describes the balanced scorecard as a carefully selected set of quantifiable measures derived from an organization's strategy. The tool can be used to communicate, measure, and execute a strategy management plan. That's a pretty big task. So there are few documents that need to be supported. For example, a statement outlining the organization's vision, mission, and strategy. A strategy map, which outlines the objectives required to execute the strategy as well as the links between them. A tactical action plan. The balanced scorecard is not a fad or a quick fix. It requires a significant investment in time and resources. In most organizations, it takes 1 to 3 years to complete the design and implementation of process. Then resources must be invested to monitor, report, and communicate results, and to evaluate and update the scorecard. The scorecard is then created and used to create and implement the tactical action plan. It typically focuses on 4 perspectives of the business. First, customers. What does success mean to our customers? Success. Then financial. What non-tangible investments do we need to make? What results do we want to see? Third, internal processes. How will we achieve our financial and customer perspectives? Typically, you will focus on 4 major areas: operations management, customer management, innovation, regulatory, and social. Employee learning and growth is the final step. What non-tangible investments do we need to make? Typically, we will focus on 3 major areas: human capital. What people do we need to place for success? What knowledge resources do we need? Information capital. What information sharing and technology resources need to be in place? And then finally, organizational capital. What cultural and leadership supports should be in place? Let's see an example of a balanced scorecard. As we discussed earlier, the balanced scorecard is used to communicate, measure, and execute a strategy management plan. It provides a balanced way of synthesizing the critical actions required to achieve the goals on the strategy map. In the balanced scorecard below, you can see the 4 perspectives and their objectives in the yellow boxes. Then each perspective contains specific actions and measures. Here we have only included a few actions and measures, just to give you an idea of what it's all about. So, is the balance card right for us? As we mentioned earlier, the balanced scorecard is not one size fits for all solution. To succeed, it requires a high level of dedication and a lot of focus. However, companies that do implement it are often quite satisfied with its results. A 2009 survey by Bain & Company, a US organization that does global consulting, showed that 53% of their clients use the balanced scorecard with almost a 4 out of 5 satisfaction rating. This places it in their list of top 10 tools. Remember that balanced scorecard makes our strategy goals look transparent, and in fact, it's necessary to customize the scorecard to reflect your organization. So, some important questions to look for. A case study that I mentioned earlier, let's suppose a company which sells consumer products. It manufactures its prepackages and frozen meals. It has an incoming inventory, it has a manufacturing process, and it has outgoing inventory. And it also distributes. See how it looks like. In conclusion, the balanced scorecard is an interpretation and implementation of your organization's strategy. It only makes sense then that you need to have a clearly defined vision of what your organization is and where it's going before starting to build a balanced scorecard. So it is essential that the four perspectives of a traditional balanced scorecard to create harmony and people strategy and performance, like customers, financial, internal processes, and employee learning and growth. Thank you for participating in this presentation.